There's a grief moving through the country right now, not just about politics, not just about one leader or one election. It feels like we're mourning an entire version of the United States, the one we believed in, the one we trusted, the one we assumed would always be there. When people say, "My life will never be the same again," they're not being dramatic. They're telling the truth. I want to talk about why this feels so destabilizing and what might actually come next. From an astrological lens, we are living through a massive shift, the transition into the age of Aquarius. Aquarius energy dismantles hierarchy. It exposes power held without accountability. It breaks systems built on obedience, myth, and silence. Aquarius doesn't preserve comfort. It preserves truth. That's why everything feels unstable. Because the structures that once created certainty can no longer survive awareness. In tarot, this moment aligns perfectly with the Tower. The Tower is lightning striking a structure that was never built on truth. It represents systems held together by avoidance, denial, and the belief that stability equals safety. When the Tower falls, it feels like shock, rage, betrayal, disorientation. People say, "I don't recognize my country anymore." That's Tower language. But here's the part we have to be honest about. The Tower doesn't fall because of villains alone. It falls because too many people were conditioned to be good, to stay polite, to not rock the boat, to avoid conflict, to trust authority, to keep the peace instead of telling the truth. That's people-pleasing, scaled up to a society. It's the same dynamic that keeps unhealthy families intact. Everyone managing discomfort instead of confronting reality. The Tower doesn't collapse because people ask too many questions. It collapses because too many stayed quiet for too long. This isn't about blame, it's about understanding the pattern. And here's what matters. The card that comes immediately after the Tower is the Star. Not chaos, not punishment, stillness. The Star is the moment after the shock, when the dust settles and the nervous system finally exhales. It's quiet hope, not performative, not forced. The Star asks, what's real now? What do we actually stand for? What are we no longer willing to pretend about? This is where healing begins, not by going back, but by getting honest. And then comes judgment. Judgment is the rebirth card. It represents awakening, the moment when people realize they can't unsee what they now understand. Judgment isn't shame. It isn't condemnation. It's responsibility. It's the moment when people stop asking, what will happen if I speak, and start asking, what happens if I don't? This is where people-pleasing ends, where approval is no longer the currency, where truth becomes the call. So if you're grieving, you're in the Tower. If you're quietly questioning, pulling back, reevaluating what you once accepted, you're touching the Star. And when people begin to act differently, speak differently, refuse to comply with what they can no longer justify, that's judgment awakening. This isn't the end of the American story. It's the end of a chapter that couldn't survive consciousness. What we rebuild and how we rebuild is still unfolding, not with louder myths, not with nicer lies, not with people-pleasing disguised as unity, but with clarity, with courage, with truth. Grief doesn't mean we're losing. Sometimes it means we've finally stopped pretending. Follow for more truth bombs from the Good Girl Box.